Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Doodle Robot and today I'm going to do Sassy Coloring's mid-year freakout tag. And I'm happy to report that this brings me full circle, this tag, because this was the first tag that I ever did. It was the first video I ever did. Not even a year. It's not been a year. I know, seems like forever, but I haven't been on YouTube even a year yet. I think I have one more month and it will be a year. I believe my first video aired about August 31st-ish, plus or minus a few days, so we got another month or so. But yeah, so first video, and we've come back around. So I've got the questions written out, and I was watching YouTube, and I'm like, that sounds vaguely familiar. Suddenly I'm seeing all these freakout tag videos, and I'm like, that sounds vaguely familiar. Is that from a long time ago? Or are people just doing them again? And yes, people are doing them again. And then I'm like, oh, I looked at my videos, and I'm like, oh, I did that. No wonder that seems familiar. So yeah, my first video. So I'm super excited. Thank you so much, Sassy Coloring, you awesome lady, you, for coming up with such good questions that inspired me to start my own YouTube channel. Along with her and Jojosa Hannah, whose Start Small tag also inspired me to do a YouTube channel, because they had questions for me to answer, because I didn't know like what to talk about or what to do, so I needed questions to answer. So I just stole a bunch of tags and did them. But let's get started. Enough reminiscing there. Number one, and I've paraphrased my questions here, so I may not get them right, but I'll put them in the description for you. Best picture colors so far in 2022. So, I cheated a little bit, as did pretty much everybody I watched. These are from the very end of 2021. And they're probably my top favorite ones here. This is Joanna Basford's Magical Jungle. And probably my favorite because I altered this one. There was nothing in the center. I put the little plateau and the little alien on the plateau and the fish. I drew lots of stuff in here. I can't remember what now, but I know I drew the fish and that and various other things. Anyways. And that's all Prismacolor and maybe a little bit of white gel pen of some kind. And then also this one is another altered page. This one was finished December 31st. So all I could see and it actually goes like this. It's kind of a vertical picture or portrait, I guess I should say. Use my proper terms there. It says Owlusive Owlusion. All I could see when I saw this picture was the owl. I'm like, is this a Rorschach test? And so finally it bothered me so much that I'm like, I'm just going to pick out the owl and just make it work like that. So those were both finished at the very end of December. Those would have to be my favorite ones. But if we're talking about pictures finished in 2022, I would have to pick from Joanna Basford's World of Flowers. The three I did in here. We'll start with the first one I did, which was, I think I had like several videos on this as I did it. Let me zoom you in a smidge. This is the Beatles page, as in John, Paul, Ringo, and George. All that was I altered this page quite drastically. All that was there was the little Beatles, and there were 4 of them. So I'm like, it's the Beatles, right? It has to be the Beatles. So then I did like 60s inspired imagery from some songs like Strawberry Fields and I can't even think of the songs. The Sun one, the Yellow Submarine, Diamonds in the Sky, etc. And Lava Lamp stuff, that's just from the 60s. So it's a 60s album inspired piece. And that was done way back in February. And then in April, getting ready for, all the sci-fi hoopla, I finished my Star Trek one. I don't really particularly like the wallpaper, like mandala pages. I mean, I like them, but I want to alter them. So this is all Star Trek imagery and symbols. These are like Klingon and Dorian, and I forget what other symbols all jumbled together to make the corner things. And then to get ready for Star Wars Day, the most important holiday of the year, in my opinion, I did Baby Yoda, Grogu here. So, again, another wallpaper page, and I have a video on how I did that page if you want to view that. So those would probably be my 3 favorite ones. If I had to pick one of those, I'd probably the Beatles page, maybe Grogu second, I don't know. So, yeah, so all of those were finished in 2022. So those are my best, I guess I would calculate as best pictures. Up next is my most colored in book of 2022. Again, it's both of these Johanna Basford books. I mean, we have 2 double page spreads here, so there would be 4. We have 3 single page spreads here, so that would be 3. I'm still trying to work through all of my coloring books that I've bought. I haven't been coloring that long, but there's ties of 3. We have 3 books with 3. In Mandalas 2, I did 3 pictures also. 2022 was when I kind of discovered some designs. And then Zaza Zing there. And then also in Mandala, Geo Mandala 1, same thing. I've got 2.5 actually. One is underway. Where are they? This one just straight colored. This one was altered with paint. I did paint that. It's a different color. I don't know if you can tell. It's almost the same, but it's a different color. I took out some of the mandala, put in some of my own things. And then here, I'm shooting a whole video on this right now. I'm right in the middle of it. Step by step, I actually messed this one up. So this is a altered page due to disaster, basically. But that's where that is. So I'm in the middle of painting these green. Takes several coats. So step-by-step instructions on that one. So those are my books that all have 3. Everything else just usually gets 1 colored in it, and then I put it away and focus on a new book. So number 3, newly released coloring book that I want to color in. Let me find the stack. There's books everywhere. I'm surrounded by books everywhere. Okay, so we've got a couple here that I think were released in 2022. This is my first Lyrica purchase. I just bought one to test it, to see if they would find me in the middle of nowhere, because it's a huge problem. Japan, or as we would say in the US, Japan. And this is a tiny book. Oh my gosh, it took a month to get to me. I thought it was lost. I had several conversations with them. They kind of insulted me by saying it would probably arrive if you gave us a street address instead of a P.O. box. And then I had to send them a long letter explaining how the U.S. postal system works. And they, they apologized, and they like, oh, I'm sure she didn't mean to be insulting. We don't understand how the U.S. postal system works. I mean, if you live in the middle of nowhere, you get a P.O. box. They don't deliver to your street address. So I'm not sure. This one says copyright 2021, but I noticed a lot of the books that were released in 2022 say copyright 2021. So I don't know. It's new to me. I really like it. It's awesome. It's very small spaces though. I'm going to have to get out my Crayola colored pencils for this one, because they're skinny and they keep a sharp point. But I'm excited to color in that one. Moon Valley was just released in the U.S., and I bought the U.S. version. I like them to be in English if I can get them in English. So yeah, I'm excited to color. A lot of these books are sitting in my to-be shot haul video, which I keep procrastinating about. I'm excited to color in Mythic World. Have yet to do so, but this book is so good. I think Mythographic and this book are in my top favorites of his. Coco Wyo's really hitting it out of the park. I'm excited to color in this new book by Coco Wyo. I think it's new, Dreamy Forest. Because it's a tree book, it's all trees. I have a whole tree book collection. I know, you know, some people collect Alice in Wonderland. I do trees and sci-fi. Marching to my own drummer here. But yeah, I love the whimsical style. It's right up my alley there. So I'm excited to color in that one. And one that I just found at Walmart a couple days ago. Manga glow-in-the-dark coloring book. This one I actually like better than the Pop Manga book for some reason. I just don't know how to like deal with her stuff. There are many pages. I'm not crazy about the glow-in-the-dark stuff, although somebody gave a good suggestion and said that you could probably paint acrylic paint over the glow-in-the-dark stuff, and my guess is she is correct. I don't remember who that was. But I bought the book, not for the glow-in-the-dark stuff, but for, I don't know, there's like this image is awesome. There's an image towards the back, which has water and monsters. It's got water, and it's got monsters, and it's got trees. It's the triplefecta. Did I say that right? The trifecta. It's the trifecta of coloring there for me. Water, monsters, and trees. Awesome. You can't go wrong. But yeah, there's quite a few pages that I bought this book for. And I'm going to, I think, since somebody suggested it, what a good idea. Why didn't I think of that? Because acrylic paint is like my main thing. There's a couple at the beginning here that I think I could try the acrylic paint on one of these. I don't like the baseball girl, so maybe I'll try her. Plus, it's all her skin. So I don't know. Yeah, so I'm excited to color in that one as well. All right, number 4, most anticipated release. Sorry, the camera needs something to focus on. Most anticipated release for the next half of 2022. I'm very excited. Hopefully it will come to the U.S. The Hannah Carlson book, I don't know what it's called exactly, City in the Stars or City Among the Stars. I'm excited about that one for obvious reasons. And I'm also very excited, I think it's to be released any second now. And this one will not come to the U.S. I'll have to order it off Book Depository. But it's Rita Berman's Walk Through Asia or Trip Through Asia, whatever it's called. I don't know. So I'm super excited about those. I know a lot of everybody else said they're very excited about Johanna Basford's Rooms of Wonder. I don't know about that one. I need to see flip-throughs of that before I decide that. I've seen the cover and I'm like, oh, that's a lot of little doodads in a room to color. I don't know if that's for me. And I'm super excited, but it's not scheduled for, both of them are not scheduled for until 2023, early, I think 2023. I'm waiting for the new Beauty of Horror one and the Alien Kirby Rosanis book, of course. I'm waiting for that one. So I'm very excited about those, but those are not this year, so far away. Oh, there's also one by Marjorie Sarnott called Enchanted that I look forward to seeing. Most of these books I won't get till I see flip-throughs of them. Not really automatic buys, but yeah. All right, so what are we on? Number 5. Favorite new artist or publishing company discovered in 2022. Okay, so I looked and I couldn't think of anything. I think a lot of these people have been around before 2022, but, you know, I've got this, Coco Wyo is just like, they burst onto the scene and they are going crazy. Like every week they release some book that looks really awesome, and it's, you know, hard to have self-control, but I have one coming in the mail, I think tomorrow. They're releasing a lot of stuff. So I think they're coming on strong. So I'm going to count that in that category as kind of discovered, although I think I might have had some of their stuff before that. And another person that I've really discovered or started coloring in, they release stuff all the time, but is, hold on. is Carla Magnana. And I have some of hers for another question too. I was looking through my books and I think I owned this one in 2021. And I colored a picture in it very late at the end of 2021, December 23rd of 2021. So everything I've done in a Carla Magnana book has been in 2022. Like, they were just sitting there staring at me. And it took me a while to warm up. I knew I wanted them. I was excited about them, but it took me a while to warm up towards the idea of experimenting in her books. And now I think I'm there. And I foresee myself doing probably at least one Carla Magnana picture a month from here on out. Hopefully that's kind of the tentative goal. And also, well, I'll talk about them. I bought 2 comic cover coloring books, and I really like those. So although those have been out a long time, I was just finally able to get a hold of them. But I really enjoy coloring in them. But I'll show those in a little bit. All right, number 6. Did I try any new techniques? Yes. I tried many new techniques, and it's actually only been in the last month or 2 for a lot of these techniques. So, we have the pile here. Now, if you recall, there was a whole video on it, but it was my how to do, that's not the right picture, how to do streak-free water-based markers. And a lot of this is water-based markers. And I'll try to zoom in there for you so you can see. The streaks are very hard to see. They're very disguised. I did a whole video on that. So that was kind of a new technique I was working on. I also did it in one of my tree books where it came out really good too. So you get that very flat graphic look to it. No streaks with water-based markers. That's for books that you don't want it to bleed through on. So there was that new technique. There was I shot a whole video on this too. I was just experimenting, and I think it came out rather well. This is all done with silky gel crayons. And a little bit of color shift paint. So I was experimenting with the silky gel crayons. So that's a new technique that I kind of, taught myself or experimented through and found a way to use it. So I rather like that one, so you can check out that video. A lot of these are taking place in July, oddly. It's a month after school is out where I finally have that mental energy and the space to really be creative. And I think just, within a week here, I did 2 pages in Carla Magnana. This is Spooklet sketchbook. And I was trying Color Me Stress Freeze thing where she wets the background and then drips her watercolor paint. I was trying that in the background there. That got me started. And then I was also trying a very scratchy style, which is so not me. On the hair, you can see in the border there. But I was trying to be very scratchy with my acrylic paint pens there and there. I was trying to be scratchy. It's not my go-to style, so I was trying that. And then my favorite one, and I think I was trying to shoot a video on this one, and I was like, I got the whole background painted, and then I realized I had not hit record on that video, so sorry about that. And then one that I really like, I wanted to drip paint, so we have the paint drips, and I dripped from both sides, and then I was doing the scratchy style here, and I did this one before I did the other one. So I'm mixing, acrylic paint, acrylic markers, and alcohol markers, and I really like how that one turned out as well. I like dripping paint, except it's hard to do it in a book, because you got to tilt the whole book, and my pages stuck and peeled away a little. I'm lucky I didn't rip any of the pages there, but yeah, so that was another experiment that I did. And then my last experiment which I just finished yesterday, actually. This is a big book. I might have to zoom you out a little. Okay. I still did the technique, my streak-free water-based marker technique a lot of places. In the back here, I used Neo Color 2s, and then I color penciled over it, just as a quicker way to do that. It was too big of an area to do the markers. I felt there would be too much streaking, and I'm not sure the colored pencil would cover it, but I tried that. It's okay. The Neo Color 2s make my Prismacolors it's too much wax, I think. So it's hard to do the Prismacolors on top of the Neo 2 colors. I mean, it worked fine, but I'm not sure I would do that again. But anyways, and also, again, I'm going with a very expressionistic stroke here. And this is colored as best as I could get it towards the historical version of this cover. Here, I've known about it for a long time, I've just never done it. I did the thing where you scratch your water-based markers on the palette, and then you add some water and you pick them up. I did that for the skin, for all like the zombie kind of skin here, and oh, I need a zombie book now because I kind of figured it out. So yeah, so I was painting with water-based marker, which is not something I'd ever done before. I mean, I knew about it, I just hadn't bothered to try it. But I tried that here, and I'm very pleased with that. I really like how this one came out. Okay, so those are lots of new techniques that I've actually just tried in the last couple of weeks, couple of months for some of them. Okay. Number 7, what book do I want to finish most this year? I don't want to finish any books. That's not a goal that I have. I'm way too slow for that, and there's too many books that I need to give love to, so I can't even think about that. And however, if we're talking about wanting to finish books in a lifetime, perhaps the 2 Johanna Basford books that I showed you at the top of the video, World of Flowers and Magical Jungle, maybe one of those. I sometimes think about wanting to finish Tomislav Tomic's Dramenbanger. I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not sure if I said it right. That seems like a worthy book to finish in a lifetime. This is a book that I haven't even started yet, but a book that I'd like to finish in a lifetime, Futuristic Worlds. It's just so awesome. I don't know what keeps me from starting in this. I'm just like, I don't want to mess anything up. And it's like a $5 book. I could, if I messed it up, I could just buy another one, but you know, it's the precious. But anyways, those are a couple of the ones that I could see finishing in a lifetime, not in a year. That'd be too stressful. And then number 8, kind of along the same lines, have I completed any coloring books this year? No, I haven't. So, any regrets? And do I regret buying any books? There's one. You know, I have a whole tree book collection, and this said Tree of Life. And this was a blind buy. I'm like, you know, Tree of Life books gotta have trees in it, right? So I blind bought it, and there's hardly any trees in it. They should have been called like Animals of Life or something, because it's an animal book. What is this? Like, this looks like something I would teach in K through 6 art on like line and movement. It doesn't even rise to the level of like doing texture. Anyway, I mean, there's some pictures that I like. There's like I like this one. I would do that one. And there's a few bug pictures. Oh, I like the giraffe, of course. I always like giraffes. A couple trees. There's a few really good bug pictures at the beginning here too that I rather like. But, you know, if I move in a year or so, is this going to make the moving cut the worth putting it in a box cut? I don't know. So yeah, I kind of regret that one. Bad title. Just saying. So, and let's see, number 10. What coloring books would I recommend from 2022? Okay, so I think I can safely say that probably, Carla Magnana is probably has or will release some awesome books this year. Coco Wyo, same thing, already has or will release an awesome book that everybody can love this year. Spooky Girl, maybe. But one of my favorites released this year would have to be Mythic World. I would recommend that. And I guess that's about it. I only summarized the question, so I'm not sure if it's nebulous or not. But any of the Johanna Basford books that I showed at the top, also World of Flowers and Magical Jungle are two of my favorites. I would definitely recommend those. I colored in those a lot this year as well. So that is it for my 10 questions. I appreciate you joining me. I thank you for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day. And thank you, Sassy Coloring, for bringing me back around full circle on my YouTube journey thus far. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, everybody, have a great day. Live long and prosper. Bye-bye.